say is we've got to give Marjorie Taylor Greene some props for at least getting into the gym with Larry, you know, because if she didn't work out, imagine what it really would have looked like. Now, speaking of lobsters and Larry and all things red, your Cheddar Bays might be on their last days. Y'all see what I did there, right? All right. Anyway, yes, so last week, it is basically known that Red Lobster will be filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Chapter 11, Red Lobster, the place you've all grown up to and loved. Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And Chapter 11 doesn't mean the doors are closing, right? So you don't have to worry about faking going to Red Lobster this weekend like you really wanted to go there to begin with. No, Chapter 11 just means we can operate and we can try to, as we figure out what we're going to do with our funds in the future, but the debt collectors, y'all gonna have to wait. And if I owed as much money to someone as Red Lobster would, I would be sick too. Like, you gonna have to give me my money. Where's my money, bruh? Where's my money? So this is not a surprise though, right? Like, there was a time, right, where Red Lobster was it. It was the brand standard of like seafood restaurants. And now it really is just the Olive Garden of seafood restaurants. And I think the problem is Red Lobster still believes they're the Red Lobster of restaurants when they're just the Olive Garden. They got to do what Olive Garden did years ago, which is stop trying. Olive Garden hasn't tried. And since they opened the door, remember in the beginning they had commercials and it was like, yeah, come in. And then we were like, their breadsticks aren't even that good. And everyone was like, all right, well, their spaghetti's okay. I like their little Alfredo. It's better than Chef Boyardee's. And what Olive Garden do? Own it. Hey, come in, get unlimited breadsticks, get unlimited solids. Just come sit down, get some water. Like, just pop up. Red Lobster is still out there talking about, we got endless shrimp. No, you don't. Not with owing these people money. Endless shrimp is over. So this is a trend in all of these middle class restaurants, because as the middle class in America suffers, the middle class restaurants will suffer. But not just to yell at classism that we know is happening in America. What's the other big thing that's happening? Social media. And I blame social media for the fall. Look at this. Do you see how decadent this looks? There's a steak, it's cut, it's charred, it's got the seafood in the back and the wine. And this is what happened. You people that have rich uppity standards. I said uppity. Yep. I said uppity. For all of those that actually have real taste. You put these photos on social media. You know what I didn't want after looking at that on social media? Red Lobster. I didn't want Sizzler no more. I was like, oh, that's what steak and shrimp is supposed to look like. I'ma go get that. So I do blame social media, and all those other mid-tier restaurants really need to start counting your days, because Outback, we know you ain't a real steakhouse. The only thing you got is the bread. But let's be honest, the little brown bread from Outback, that brown bread, when it's warm and you put the butter on it, that shit hit. But you cannot be a steakhouse known for your bread. And to be honest, last year Outback had already closed 41 restaurants. So you need your Cheddar Bays and you need your brown biscuits. It's time for you to get moving. Speaking of brown, we're going back to the Middle East, where the conflict between Israel and Hamas is, I'm pretty sure it's crossing war crime at this point. I'm pretty sure of it. But we knew that Israel has been gearing up to start these attacks on Rafah, and Rafah is where all of the people who have been fleeing have been going. So you see how this legitimately is turning into a powder keg. Well, over the weekend, that's exactly what happened. Israel had some strikes land, and it landed into a massive tent outpost where refugees, people who were fleeing, all of those were basically huddled together. And that tented community, I guess we can call it community because that's where it was. But in that tented community, a wildfire broke out and 35 people were killed, not mentioning the hundreds of burns and injuries and everything else. And I know we've been yelling this for a while, but we're just talking about peace in the Middle East. And we've been saying this since as long as we wore this. Yes, cross colors. Y'all remember cross colors. But that's how long we've been asking for peace in the Middle East. That's a solid 35 years ago at this point. And 2 days before this attack happened, the International Court of Justice, which is the United Nations highest court, had already said to Israel, hey, you gotta kind of stop. Like, you need to stop. And Israel was like, whatever. And it was like, what do you mean, whatever? And the statement released was, hey, let me read it correctly. Israel hasn't and will not target civilians. But the aid truck incident in February, where there were just people in the aid trucks and the soldiers opened fire on. And then you had the hospital raid in March. Remember, y'all went in there and y'all was shoot, and then there were civilians in and then this weekend, to the tune of 32,000 Palestinian civilians. 32,000 Palestinian civilians. So, Israel hasn't and won't target civilians. The lie detector determined that was a lie. Now, I'm not here yelling Israel has no right to defend itself. That's not, but we're not here anymore, right? We're talking about the initial 1,200 lost lives with Israel. And you go, well, I understand the approach, right? It's the voice of nationalism becomes extremely strong. And when you're like, oh, I'm getting my lick back. I mean, look at what has happened in any country that's dealt with this, right? So you might be yelling, well, why isn't the U.S. flexing its muscles right now? Why isn't the U.S. saying, hey, look, Israel, if you don't do this. Well, one, it's politics season. Two, this photo. This is the aftermath of Hiroshima. Or is that Nagasaki? Is that the Catholic temple? If it's a Catholic temple, then I don't think it's a Catholic temple. Anyway, this is a photo of online that said Hiroshima, but I'm not even sure if it's Hiroshima or Nagasaki right now. Either way, we, the United States of America, are the only country that has ever used nuclear warfare, right? Like, yes, there's a Cold War with Russia and there's this arms race and da-da-da. We're the only ones who used nuclear warheads. Now, why? The Japanese attacked us in Pearl Harbor. I think it was a loss of a few hundred lives, and I've never minimized the lives lost. But then our flip side response was 80,000 civilians in Nagasaki and 60,000 civilians in Hiroshima. And this is not the total number of fatalities caused. We're just talking about the initial bomb blows off, there's a firestorm, and what happened. So 30,000 people is light. That's U.S. light. So I don't think you're going to get much from the U.S. in response to, hey, don't do that. And we've done that a few times, so that's fine. What we're calling for, right, is we're calling for a ceasefire. We're calling for peace, right? Because just because they're a NPC or a non-playable character to you, they're their own main character in their story. And those are real friends, real families, real lives lost. And Israel just seems hell-bent on making sure that whatever we have to do to push back Hamas is going to work. But what happens in situations like this is you might destroy Hamas, but you don't destroy the sentiment. You're not getting rid of the feelings, the things that have created Hamas and allowed Hamas to be powerful and popular in the first place. So yeah, they might change the name, but that's fine, because it then is nothing but a horse of a different color. Wizard of Oz bars. Yes, you're welcome, guys. And that's where we're ending. Not where we're ending today, but those are the stories we're doing today. We're going to hop into the chat for a little bit. You know, knock the rust off, get it back, leave Emmanuel alone. He tried to get the pictures together. You know, it happens. Life happens to the best of us. All right, where are we at? We got love. Oh, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. She really did. She didn't disrespect her. She just hit him with a question. If I say this, is it okay? Which is the worst type of way to disrespect someone, is with hypotheticals. No, that blooming onion was trash. Don't do that. I don't understand. Everyone out back grabbing the blooming onions. Them blooming onions were trash. And your breath stank for 4.5 hours after. I know, Jay Livin, I see what type of conversations we were having.
Would you take, what's the one women said they hated recently? Collectively?
Oh, the one with the 30-page menu. Yeah. Oh, Cheesecake Factory. Cheesecake Factory.
Would you take that over Red Lobster?
Hell yeah. Cheesecake Factory has 10,000 options.
And all of them are mid.
Yeah, well, listen. Versus going to Red Lobster and having to get the scampi, or the lobster that's the size of a big crawfish, or the endless shrimp that get even smaller. So, nah, I'm definitely going to Cheesecake Factory. And here's the best part. I'm going by myself, since it's a bad date place, so I'm not even spending that much money. Life happened to the Pacers. Ooh, the Pacers got swept, and it's their fault. The Pacers should have won game 1. They just forgot how to inbound the ball. Pacers should have won game 3. I blame coaching on game 3. Game 3, about midway through the third quarter on, the Pacers didn't look like they ran any offense. They just ran down the court really fast with no plan, and then just turned the ball over. So that was trash. So the Pacers.
That's players yelling at the coaches, "Let us do our thing."
But no. There's fine. I'll let you do your thing for 2 minutes, and if it's not working, I'm drawing up a play. But I mean, there were 3 timeouts that they called and came out of, and had a terrible contested shot. Now you can say, "Oh, that's Boston's defense," but no, it was just bad offense. Yeah, Boston got the easiest road to the finals. Unfortunately, New York basically went to the hospital for the all season. Every starter is hurt, and then Jalen Brunson just broke his hand. So even if New York got out of the series with the Pacers, it still would have been child's play. They didn't have to face the 76ers. They deserved it. With the competition that they had in the East, they deserved to be in the finals. I think that's fine. Boston is clear-cut the best team in the East. The Dallas Mavericks are surprising me a great deal, because it looks like they're about to get the sweep on the Timberwolves. And then we get a couple weeks off, and then we're at the finals. What else do we have?
Have you seen that?
Oh, have I seen it? I've lived in X-Men 97. This moment makes me sad that we haven't figured out what to do with the podcast yet, right? Because right now, the coolest nerd you've ever met should be going crazy. My Hero Academia is back into its next season. Kaiju number 8 is a great show. Windbreakers is fun. What else is out right now? Oh, Demon Slayer, the Hashira training arc is out. Like, we're talking, and then X-Men 97 did nothing but drop hits all season long. So, yeah, I don't think X-Men 97 missed. I love pretty much everything that they've done with the characters. One of my favorite comics growing up was when Wolverine got his adamantium snatched. Like, I still have that comic in plastic with the holographic card. And if that's the story they're going to cover, that story gets crazy. But they already reintroduced Omega Red. So if you're a Wolverine lore fan, they started dropping hints of where Wolverine and his Weapon X program, what it really was, what his mutant power. Anyway, all that to say, I'm just getting X-Men 97 was fucking phenomenal.
I agree. Bring back Spider-Man 98 too.
Here's my problem.
I love them classics.
Here's my only concern. X-Men 97 went off flawlessly. And so if you don't bring Spider-Man 98 back flawlessly, leave it alone. Because I thought Spider-Man
It ended well. It ended right. With him going through the Spider-Verse, whatever.
Coming back, Madam Web,
Yeah.
losing the powers, getting his powers, dealing with Mary Jane. Mind you, the story goes on, but if you're not going to be able to really capitalize on that, like if you rank those shows, right? I thought the best one of those was Spider-Man, followed by Batman the Animated Series, and then X-Men. And so I wasn't terrified that they would ruin X-Men because I felt like of all of those, X-Men wasn't complete.
It wasn't.
Yeah, so if Spider-Man's not going to be on the same level of X-Men, leave it alone. Leave it alone, please.
They showed Spider-Man in the show though, and with Mary Jane. They showed it in X-Men.
No, I saw they showed him but they showed him like chilling off the side when Magneto destroyed the poles.
Spider-Man.
So they showed
a second time. Peter Parker and Mary Jane, they were standing looking at TV when the meteor was about to hit. I think
I don't recall that.
You don't remember?
I don't recall. I remember when the poles happened and Spider-Man was like out web slinging.
And this takes place after Peter Parker comes back from the multiverse, which means he got Mary Jane.
Yeah, so he's all of this is fast forward. You bring him on to the show. Bring Spider-Man in, right? Don't let him get disrespected like Captain America did when she frisbee his shit. Oh, you can't use this? Shit the fuck out of here. You should go find it. But yeah, I thought it was great. Original comic, absolutely. Take a picture. Jay Livin, I got you. I mean, I guess I'll just show it on the next episode of Comedy Traphouse. Yeah, I think that's it. Any questions? Any comments? Anything before we get out of here? I'm really sad because you guys haven't really supported the GoFundMe.
Hey, did you hear why the X-Men showrunner got fired?
No, I didn't hear why yet.
You know it was the brothers.
Yeah, I knew it was a dude, and they said he was like controversial, but I don't know.
The only thing that came out was that he had an OnlyFans.
So I have an OnlyFans.
Y'all look out for Marvin on the next X-Men and getting fired.
Oh man. Yeah, I missed the joke, Jay Living. Sorry. They don't always hit. See? They don't always hit. You try. You was like, man, this one's brilliant. Missed it. I think we all did. Anyway, that is our time for Comedy Trap House News. Thanks for welcoming me back. Dude, remember, like, share. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'm sure everyone who's on here has subscribed. Like, share, subscribe. We're on TikTok. Once I start bleeping all the cursing I do, because every time I post something on TikTok, it gets community waived. And yeah. Oh yes. So Bill Walton was. I didn't go into the Bill Walton thing because it was cancer, and my dad passed from cancer, and I was like, I can't be on the news crying today. But we send our love and condolences out to his family. And he was a great player, but I think the thing is, hey guys, I said this on the pod too. Go get tested. Go do your annual checkups. Women do it. They do the manual checkups. They do the mammograms. They do the breast exams. I help with the breast exams. But we don't even like to go to the doctor as men and as black men. So please, just go to the doctor. Bend over the table. Let them lube it up. You know what? If you need something, take a drink before you go in there. You know, whatever. Get tested. Don't let a manageable problem become an unmanageable problem. If I'm trapped in the woods, am I choosing the bear or the man? Just like most of the women who said this, I'm choosing the bear. If I'm in the woods, it's probably a white guy, and he's probably a survivalist, which means I'm going to get lynched. So do I get lynched or do I get mauled? I'm gonna go with the mauling. I feel like the mauling will happen faster. You know, yes, the bear might eat my insides while I'm alive still, but I feel like if he catch me right, it's over. I don't want the last images of my life to be a white man who barely speaks English and uneducated talking down at me. Nope. That's the movie Nope. Anyway, that's our time. I love you guys. Thank you. We'll be back next week. And remember, if you have any news, any ideas, if something comes up, shoot it to us. Shoot it to the phone. Shoot it to my Instagram at Marvin Telp. I get some of my stories from viewers like you now. So if it's something that you really want me to do or see, please send it. And we're back. Thank you, guys.